All right, what's up, y'all? You know, we finally took the time to climb to Master 1 this season. And we stayed on the 60 cards ever since swapping back, you know, in the previous video. It's just, 40's just, you know, it's just kind of boring. Way too samey every single game. And I miss that power that we get from 60 cards, that ceiling, that grind. But, yeah, I think we had about a 70% win rate from Master 5 to Master 1. Going second 60% of the time, so mainly going second. And let's get into some of these games, though. Second versus Kewl Tune. They looked at our hand already, obviously. And our hand is not ideal. Notice they're trying to play around the generic Super Poly target, the Theseus, which we do not even run, so... It's nice how much of a threat that card is to them that they have to play around it even though we don't run it at all. Ash on Quem because they looked at our hand, so they believe we do not have anything else that they'd be able to Ash, but got lucky, top deck the Sarnier. Now we're guaranteed to get that branded fusion in the graveyard for the fusion duplication for next turn. So ideally all we have to do now is guarantee that our fusion duplication set makes it to the next turn, right? Somehow they always banish the one of Star Source. Happens very often for me. But notice that we set 3, even though we will potentially need more than one discard. But we planned ahead for that, so just pay attention here. We dumped the Golden Sword Soul with the fusion duplication, which will allow us to revive back our Quem. Let's retrieve our Star Source from Purgatory. Thank you very much. And we now have another discard for the Super Poly. Thanks to Quem dumping the branded sword. Could have negated this with the Spader, but I'm like, let's just get that card out of his hand, you know. Even though we don't really care about the rotary. Because we discard our last card in hand, right? The Super Poly. But we also shuffle back our banished branded sword. And Star Source back for revenge, as you can see. Then plays right into the Retribution. We shuffle back the Lubellion like we never even left him on the field. And he is out of here. Stop touching my shit, bro. That's it. Decides to give us the High Spirits. Maybe he looked at our hand and knew that I would use Magnuma to shuffle the deck anyway, so he didn't even bother, but still a little interesting. Doesn't even bother chaining the Azaleh to attempt to negate because he knows we have 2 ways to chain block. Still think it would have been optimal to at least activate it, right? You still get to destroy at the very least. Random ass called by the grave, which is no problem. We have Retribution in the graveyard, so we dumped the Shrouded, dumped the Branded White just in case he's weird and he has another Ash Blossom for some reason in his hand. He had Lethal anyway, and he had Clip his main phase, so we would try to force Battle phase, force out the Clip, And if he uses the clip, whatever he makes, fine. If he even has resources to make anything, we still need something else in the hand. But we have droplets plus Brandon and White to deal with it, you know. We still have main phase 3, so that game is pretty much done. So we expected the Ash Blossom, and we did what we could to insulate our line beforehand. But even though we expected, if we don't really have a much better play that we can go for, an alternative, sometimes you still gotta at least play into it, because you could also be wrong, right? I wasn't wrong this time, but we already set up enough to play without Branded Fusion, so we were fine with getting our Branded Fusion negated there. Our opponent was that afraid of the Quem that they guaranteed that we get another turn here by going straight to battle phase. So, and we know Baron DeFleur is coming, so we just use the banishment now so he can't negate it, get an Albaz in the grave. And at this point, our opponent made this very easy for us. Very, very easy for us. That is another reason why we use the banishment pre-Baron summon. Because if we leave that banishment there, he 100% targets it and destroys it, right? At least theoretically. And we'd rather him destroy something like the Mirror J like he did there, and then play right into the nib, and we just do our thing from here. Notice we dumped the Albaz because we opened the Brandon in red to play around this exact scenario. We still go for the high spirits though. And that's because it just increases the ceiling of our board. It's as simple as that. Does play into Droll, but goes for the turn 0 clip play. Not a very good play against Brandon though. Look at that, 1-of Star Source again. I told you about how they always hit the Star Source for me. But yeah, we just cleaned that right up. RS is main phase only. Mirror J checks the RS as well. Plays right into the Retribution. I'm going to stop the music for a second for anyone who's made it this far. Still have a ways to go, but I appreciate anyone that's still watching. And if you haven't, I'd ask you to please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. Or don't. and dislike the video, you know, if you want. But I'd like to potentially get this channel monetized one day. Not expecting to make much or anything at all, but it'd be cool to do, you know. And from the outside looking in, these videos might seem pretty low effort, but they actually take me quite a bit of time to make. And I'd like to make more of them and post more consistently. So I'd appreciate if you guys did that for me. But enough of that. Back to what we came for. Second versus Orchust with a little sarcophagus stuff. They got their Omni Negate trap set up. Quick effects in the graveyard. The monster snatch from the whatever the name of that link monster is on the field. And our hand is a little suspect. So Drizzworm was an excellent draw off of the regained. Target our own Sarnier, get the search, well the dump. They don't even bother using their Omni Trap because they cannot negate the activation because of the branded loss. We go for the Star Source while they still cannot respond, and notice we leave the Lubellion on the field. And now you see why we leave the Lubellion on the field. Gotta play around it. Our opponent believed that giving us fusion duplication would be a bad thing for us. It's very interesting. We have so many ways to get fusion in the graveyard, Brandon. It's almost impossible to stop us from doing that. At this point, I'm like, yeah, set 4 pass. Like, set 4 Kewl Tune is crazy, but I wasn't expecting Imperm, you know? Most of the, like, good Kewl Tune players, no offense to this guy, aren't on Imperm. So I thought. No matter, though. As he plays right into the Granguini. We go for Quartz. We don't go Quim. We want that chain block for the Zalin. We had no other quick effects, right? Now this, we got a little greedy here. In hindsight, we definitely should have went with Lubellion, and I thought about going with Lubellion, but I was getting greedy here. It's being a little greedy. But I also felt as if, you know, maybe our opponent will play into the Sword Soul as well. Right? So I was banking on that, and, you know, there you go. And from here, you know, Super Poly, I'm like, sure, I have fusion duplication, right? Which you gave me, by the way, good sir. Thank you. All right. How authentic would this video be, though, if I didn't show you at least one of these moments, right? It happens. It does happen. Fortunately for us, our opponent plays into the most obvious super poly of all time. Come on, man, I'm on branded. I don't care if I'm on 60, 40. If a branded player sets on their first turn and ends their turn without doing anything, you have to assume. Gotta assume that it might be a super poly. Gotta play around that, right? And you might be wondering, hey, you got branded fusion in your hand. What are you doing? Why didn't you just activate the branded fusion? But you know, I just had a hunch. Activated a few things that could be, you know, stopped by a certain someone. And he thought for a second on a lot of those toggles. So, you know, I thought, you know, look at that. Got to play around it. I'm telling you, that's the difference. Because of our hand, I decided to cut it short here and play off of the fusion duplication. Because in order to finish the combo, we would have to banish the Albaz in the hand plus discard a card just to get Mirror Jade, and I didn't think it was worth it. Rather keep the 2 extra cards in hand and just play with the fusion duplication on my opponent's turn. Definitely wasn't expecting the purge as well. Remember, we did get purged on the Albion, so we would also have a branded banishment or branded in red, or you know, whatever we want. All 3 of our Albaz were in the graveyard. So, you know, we shuffle back 2 Albaz. We leave the Lubellion. Because against Odion, you know, there's some of the traps that are pretty beefy. So we just need slightly beefier bodies on the field, you know. We don't really need effects. As long as we can clear the field, we're fine. So we leave Lubellion. No problem. And loss protects against activation negates. So see you later, Odion Bozo. And if you don't remember this name, this was the same guy from the very first duel, who we dueled in Master 3. Ended up meeting him again in Master 2. He caught up to me. But this time we get to go first. And we play around a hell of a lot of hand traps. Or play through, I should say. We're definitely brute forcing here. What is that, hand trap number 4? I bet you wish you saved that imperm. I debated not even going Verte here, but just because of our life points, but you know, I figured Mirror Jade could hold it down, you know. Put him in defense, we're fine. You know, he did just show the Ghost Bell, and I'm just realizing he showed that Ghost Bell, by the way. So keep that in mind as you watch this. So in my head here, I don't activate the Albion because I wanted to go all in and summon Dragon Lord plus Star Source on his turn. But like I said before, I didn't even know he had a Ghost Bell. I was not paying attention this game apparently, because I'm just realizing that he revealed the Ghost Bell in his hand while watching this replay. So 100% misplay by me. Doesn't matter. We immediately snatch up that normal monster so the Ether Barrel cannot trigger in the graveyard. I debated on banishing this monster for about 10-20 seconds, and I couldn't think about what he could make. For some reason, I just couldn't think of Silhouette Rabbit. Completely forgot about it. And so we definitely banished something there. 100% in that situation. And if we do that, I'm pretty sure that ends the game on the spot. So there's one misplay. And here we forget that the traps are considered normal monsters, so there's another misplay. You know, this was towards the end of the climb, so I'm kind of getting a little fatigued. I was getting a little annoyed because Master 2 is kind of like the desperation rank, where people would just do anything to win and play anything, including decks like this. I don't really respect this deck. No disrespect to the people who like it and play it, but it's really just not a healthy deck. And this was the RankUp game. The games were in no particular order, but this was the RankUp game. And boy, was this a sight to see, because yeah, this was just the easiest game that I had the entire climb. So it was pretty much just like, here, you can have your RankUp now. It's pretty much what this game was. But you know, if you made it this far, I appreciate you for watching. As always, Decklist is at the end. New support on the way. We're not that far off. Looking forward to it. It's very nice to finally switch it up. And I'll catch y'all later, man.